lady to speak with you. And please, I want to let you know there was no gender bias in this selection. It just came about. You know, we're going to have men and women balanced throughout the program. But it just so happened that many of my entrepreneurs were women, and this is a worldwide phenomenon. More and more women are breaking through the glass ceiling by going into their own businesses. And the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well in both men and women. And this afternoon I have a very exciting lady. All the ladies here are exciting. But Joanne Simpson has done some very interesting things with her talent. We actually met up at the hairdressers. The hairdressers is a very good place for women to meet because we talk when we're under the dryer. And when she walked in, I said, but I know you. I remember you being on some television program talking about your best-selling book. What are you doing? And she says, oh my dear, I'm publishing, I'm doing this, I'm on to my third book. I now have a publication coming out with Barnes and Noble. And I said, boy, this lady is going places. Well, she's a lady who has tapped into her creative energy and imagination. And she has produced some wonderful best-selling books. Her current book is Why Heritage. She has also published a book, The Jamaican Woman, which you can see on her store because she has a booth outside there with all her publications. And another book called Smooth Runnings. Now, Joan has a great interest in history and heritage, and this runs throughout her work. She looks at the cultural resource that Jamaica has and takes that and turns it into wonderful reading. Reading that people not only in Jamaica buy, but people abroad and throughout the Caribbean. And without further ado, I'm going to invite her to come and tell her own story.
Gillian said some wonderful things that I know some people have a way they like to imitate shyness. It was me. But I am happy to own up to what has happened. Oh my. I have now classified myself as a writer, author, publisher, communication specialist. It's in the vein of media training, which is my base. I have an MBA, and I have what many people are proud to report. They have street sense. That is the biggest university. And I have been out there as a saleswoman. In my career, I'm here 50 years old, incidentally, so when I speak of my younger days, I was much younger then.
Fabulous 50s.
I would like to commend Julian and her team for this idea.
Yes, absolutely.
Because if we do not share our resources and our wealth, we're not going to go anywhere.
True.
We have to bring the other generation forward.
Yeah.
And this is why I have chosen this career. I am moving from sales. Let me just start. I started at JBC as a news editor reporter. That was my base. Reporting hotel, driving in at 60 miles per hour, on 2 wheels to read the news. 1 minute, always 60 seconds before the news. And those were wonderful years, and we are still a happy family. We meet occasionally for a drink. From there I went into PR, and from PR I went to study part-time, and then I went into my own business, and then I went to the Eagle Group to do sales. I did insurance and investment. So my career base is wide, and my strengths are numerous. Anywhere there's an opportunity to learn, I am there. So I do my own marketing, I do my own publishing, I do my own accounting, I do my own delivery, I leave the boxes too. Many of my friends insist that I need to write my autobiography, but I'm a very private person, needless to say. But I think where I can share, I am happy to share. I am of the view, and I feel very strongly about this, that in the context of our country, whatever we undertake should be able to have positive spin-offs for the rest of the society. So whatever we do or seek to do, we should bear this in mind. our society needs us. Making money is one thing, but from that perspective alone, it can become boring and unfulfilling. Many might disagree with me. My pastor explained the difference between money and significance, making money and achieving significance. And when I listened to him, I said, "Oh, this is incredible. This is such an important differentiation. You can make money, but when you do not use that money to benefit society, it is almost useless. When you achieve significance is when you use your work to benefit others and to help build children, people, a community, whatever it is. So that is the difference between making money and achieving significance. At this point, I'll say I'm achieving significance because I think I'm contributing something back to my society. So the money is there. Senator Golding was here earlier and he made some absolutely wonderful and useful remarks. Many of you might not have been here, but bottom line of what he was saying is you need to think out of the box. There's no room for thinking that life is business as usual and this is the way it has to go. You have to change things, you have to change to suit situations at times. The present challenges in our country, they're numerous. But with fortitude and drive and passion, you can do anything. And that's what I have done. How I landed into writing, I was a horrible writer. I was at JBC, it was a nightmare. I could not write a straight sentence. My editor was exasperated. What is wrong with this young woman? I was, 19 years old. Nobody thought from the group now that it was Joanne who was going to pop out and become the author or the publisher. But that is life and that is a very serious lesson. Never take people or anything for granted. I wrote a whole heap of paperwork here, but I'm talking to you. When you go through life, the way I do it has worked. So if it can work for you, try it. When I sit down anywhere, I observe everybody, everything. I see opportunities. I never have a dull moment. I am never bored. I don't have time to be bored. And from these little moments is that can emanate into big things, like what happened to me. I'll tell you, I was traveling to Philadelphia or someplace in the States, so a big international financial institution that I sold insurance and investment for. It's called Conseco. The plane broke down when you were quarreling in the north. I mean, gotta go. But I just sat there and at half an hour I said, okay, time to walk. So I traveled through the airport, walking, watching, observing. I went into the bookstore. And then I said, let me see what people are reading. Let me see what the trends are. What are the magazines saying? What are the books saying? What is the focus? And from that I gathered that, well, it's coming towards the end of the century, so it's time to record valuable information. And that was what people were doing. And so I decided, well, what's happening in Jamaica? What do we need? What is missing? And out of that came the Jamaican woman, a celebration. And they will say, why women? What happened to men? And I'm saying to you, we need to balance the avocado. It has been very unbalanced over the years for various reasons which I won't get into. I could give you a lecture on that. But at the moment in time, there was a need to highlight the work of our women. And believe you me, what I found from this exercise, publishing this book, is a whole book in itself. When you honor people, they say you honor yourself or you receive honor from other people. and what the places that this book has taken me to. It's incredible. I live to see, I mean, sometimes they say you have to go outside of Jamaica to get honor. I get it here, and I get it there. Because people feel so wonderful that this information was done. The book was produced. There were photographers, there were people who assisted me with this book, and when I said, oh, how much do I pay you for the photos or this information, how much do I pay you? Some charged me, they likely thought I was going to be Mr. Region. You know, others said, nothing, Joanne. You have to get this valuable work done. So I felt important. I am doing something worthwhile. And this to me has been my most worthwhile project since. I've written other books. You will see from my little desk out there. The little ones were done as a way of keeping food on my table while I did the big one. Okay? It's a very expensive endeavor. So while I did little ones that I could get them printed on a little sale, and I had to sell my furniture to complete this book. Because I'm moving from, I was leaving, not leaving, it left me, the Eagle Group. I was with the Eagle Group for 8 years. And it flew away and left. And it left flat out, because at that time, it was in the context of the financial fallout in Jamaica in the mid-1990s. It was when the hotel, I was in hotels at that time, and the hotels were being divested. I had shops in the hotels, and I could make US money. I would have been sitting pretty now if I had those shops. But they were changing hands, some were shutting down, and I sold business insurance. And guess what? The businessmen were falling out too. So when they fall, I fall, because they write back all that money that I would have made and put me in the red. So it left me flat out. So I said, okay then, what do I do? I said, okay, what's the strategy? Okay, I don't want to have any more shop rents to pay when goods can't sell and you have salaries to pay. You know that scenario. I want a business that at least I can operate at least 80% of it by myself. And I said, what can that be? And that's how I came up into publishing. I just needed a computer. So with the computer, the help of the internet, the fax, and FedEx where necessary, I produce my books. So I sit at home with them. I don't have any fancy office. And I work in my pajamas, my lingerie, whatever it takes. And I work. So I might look like a pretty picture sometimes quite horrible. All right, so I'm in Kingston now and I'm fighting this thing. And you know there are challenges. You cannot take an idea like mine and walk into a bag. It's an intangible concern. It's not bankable. You can't put on the pot for it, the bankers feel. Right? It's untested waters. They've never done it, so I do it now. So I was walking around and thinking, how am I going to publish this big book? And nobody helped me. There's one band that's being featured out there now, the Jamaican money market brokers. I want to give them a hand. They were the only financial institution that lent a hand to help. So at this point, at this juncture, I found my niche. I had early dreams when I was in business selling t-shirts and running a massage parlor, not sensuous massage. I also do massage. I have every skill in life. I can massage. I had dreams of retiring at 45. I'm a little way off, but I'm heading there. I am spiritually reinforced. I'm physically healthy. I'm self-actualized, and I'm ready. I am poised. Two of my books, the Jamaican Woman and the Heritage book, they're now being sold by Barnes and Noble and Borders Books. And recently, the Ministry of Education's core curriculum, they have recommended both those books as reference text for primary, secondary, and tertiary. I also do a bit of ambassadorial work. I'm a self-appointed ambassador for this country. I have no title, but this is an author from Jamaica who wants to see the world and present Jamaica to the world and Jamaicans overseas. So I travel to various states. I've been going to the States, several trips to Florida, several to Atlanta. I've just been invited by the Inter-American Development Bank to present my work. So I did that in June. I have been meeting interesting people from all over the world. I get email that you die for. I get letters sometimes that I almost cry. Yeah? I remember one incident. We all know what American one played. Kingston. I wrote Cynthia's biography in the book, and I sent her a copy. And I was in New Kingston one day, and my cell went off, ring ring, and I heard on it, Junie. He was crying. I guess he was so moved by what I wrote about his wife who died, Cynthia Slot, that he just lost it, you know. He cried. And those things, you know, however I thought I was bringing cheer, but maybe a little, went over the hill a little, you know, but these books, I see people whose families, they feel so proud to see their granny or their auntie or their teacher, you know, in this book that is going to the world. We have so many stories to tell. There's so much information that we can write about, and I want to tell you folks out there that the Jamaicans overseas, who we figures in the number of about 3 million people, if we target even 1% of that, you can become a millionaire. Depending of course what you read and how well it sells. Okay, and what it sells for. Okay. I'm exceedingly happy. I want to express my gratitude also to corporate Jamaica. There might be some people in here. I can't see your faces very well from here. I wear glasses, I'm sphygmomyopic. But for those companies that have sponsored me, there were some who gave me money before I wrote a sentence, you know, to help. And I want to say a big thank you to all of them. It's not one, it's not two. It's like 20 odd. Everybody give a little. And that is how we have to work. You one cannot do it. So let us all put together. At this point, I am undertaking a project that it looks bigger than I am. It probably is, but I'm going for it. And I am launching soon. This is a little preview. I'm going to be launching soon a Jamaica's Writers Club. And what this is, I said, so many people come to me, how did you publish? I have work, I have written, I have short stories, I have everything, but I cannot be published, I can't afford it. I can't afford to do it for them either. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to attract seed money. At this point, I'm going, for the first year I want $12 million, and I'm going to get it. The club basically is, it's going to run for about 6 years. After 6 years, at the end of that, I want to have about 30 to 40 books, Jamaican publications on the market.
Yeah.
Writers who have their books under their manuscripts under their mattresses or in the book the bookshelves someplace, take them out. Because we're going to get you produced and published. And you're going to be paid for your work. It's gonna, the way it works, we're gonna take your work, pay you for it, pay you a percentage only though of the sale from the works. Put that into a revolving fund and help other writers to produce or be published. So basically that's it in a nutshell. During that time, the 6 years, I'll also be doing workshops to help writers to fine-tune the skill and to help our ambassadors, you know, or athletes, or beauty queens, or painters, whoever who goes overseas, you know. We're going to try and fine-tune just how they present themselves, whether it's to improve on the English, to improve on the presence, you know. We don't want anybody, we want everybody to stand tall and carry the flag high. I want to make one mention to thank Air Jamaica very much for their assistance. I couldn't have been traveling overseas like how I do without traveling free on Air Jamaica. I want to thank Mr. Butch Stewart in particular, because when I went to Air Jamaica, they said, go, I can't go value listening, you know. So I went to Butch himself. I said, this is what I am, and this is what I do, and I need help. And he said, listen, come John, anywhere you want to go, you come tell the secretary, and she will get you the ticket. Okay? So that is how I have found it possible, because a small business could not do this, because the operating overheads are too high for one single business. So you have to, if you need help, for God's sake, ball out. Ball out for help. So, to end, just some little pointers. If you want to start something, first thing you do a self-analysis. Find out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and you must know those weaknesses and how to move with them. What is it that I enjoy doing? Because when you reach a certain age like mine, you just don't want to do a job. You have to do what you like to do. Because you get very miserable, you know. You have to study the marketplace. And for heaven's sake, read. You have to see what is happening here, and you have to know what is happening in the international marketplace. We do not live in a vacuum. We do not live in a borderless world. And our markets, I can sell books in Jamaica and keep food on my table, a joke. You have to be selling to a wider market. And the world is your oyster out there. The Jamaican market alone can make you a millionaire. That's the ones overseas. And another bottom line guideline, do not waste time. I miss a lot of fun. My friends wonder if I have any fun. But you know what, I have fun by myself sometimes. Don't go into that. But I dance with myself. I exercise by myself. But I just have to move from that to the computer. A one-man band is a difficult undertaking. So you don't have time to be all over the place having a nice frolic. Many weekends you go to Ochi. Ochi is not a novelty to me anymore, so it's okay. I can sit in Kingston and say, okay, let them go. And have a quiet time. I can focus and I can read. And I can see what's happening. And that's how I survive. I am now poised. I can be anything tomorrow. Thank you.